Well, day 2 of World's Groups is all done. I'm joined right now by Jatt, several hours after their unfortunate loss today, with coverage brought to you by Alienware. It's been a couple hours. We can decompress and
Yes.
sort of talk about how everything went. So I think a lot of people were hopeful for TL today and felt as though they were favored in the match. Unfortunately, we ended
hmm
up losing. So what went wrong?
I mean, I thought we were favored too, so it's disappointing that we lost. I think a lot of things went wrong. Uh, if and this is always, I think, ever since I became a coach, these have been the most difficult questions to answer because we had a we had a long conversation about all the things we think went wrong, and half of that conversation was talking about how we can fix it for tomorrow, which, like, you don't like doing in interviews. If anyone from the other team watches,
Yeah.
Travis Gafford interviews, which honestly they should, because a lot of stuff gets given away in these interviews. So I'll say I'll have to be a little bit generic, but I think uh, while our draft did have win conditions, they mainly revolved around uh, getting a pretty big edge in laning phase. And when I saw the Caitlyn First Blood 2v2, I was like, damn, that's really good. But then Volibear basically got off 2 really good ganks before first recall. He killed mid, which set Jensen pretty far back, and then he also managed to kill Impact, which are 2 lanes that we could at least have even or get a little bit of prio. And then I think for the rest of that game, even if bottom lane had an advantage, they couldn't really push it because we could never successfully mark Volley Syndra from moving down bottom to stop us from taking turret. Because anytime you're playing one of those Caitlyn comps, you need to be able to kill bot turret really quickly and then start moving it around the map. So even though we killed it at, like, I don't remember, like 12 minutes or something, it ended up not being enough. And then at a certain point in the mid game, since we didn't have engage tools and couldn't get first set up on objectives, uh, then it was over,
Yeah.
right? So I think watching it, I can definitely see where the criticism comes in of, man, why the hell do they not pick any engage? It's like, well, like, we just needed first setup on objectives, and once we were unable to get that, it became really hard. So we're gonna try and be more aggressive in the future. We're gonna try and pick ourselves more tools to have, like, fallback patterns if bad things go wrong. And yeah, today was pretty rough, but we're gonna try and move on.
Okay. I mean, it sounds good to hear that you guys have had a conversation about it. There was a lot of good vibes coming out of play-ins for TL, and I assume you guys kind of had that too. It was very funny because the pendulum kind of swung from like Ede's a bunch of shitters to like, wow, Ede's so good just off of play-ins games. So it's kind
Mhm.
of funny to see how it went. But like, have you guys been able to ride those positive vibes, or were you guys also kind of like, hey, these are just play-ins, let's calm down, we still have to get to groups?
I think you never know if you can carry over success from one stage to the next, or even like one game to the next. We were riding really positive vibes after we were 3-0 in group stage of playing, and then we lost to INTZ. And then we had what I think was like the fastest game in World's history. Someone tweeted me that, but I'm not sure. It might have been
Yeah.
like faster by 1 second than the IG 100 Thieves game. Um, but But I would say, like, after the Machi game, that all goes out the window. So while I am feeling hopeful, the team was feeling hopeful. Like, it really sucks to lose that first game to Machi when you consider both Suning and G2 to probably be more formidable opponents.
Right.
So it's like we know it's going to be really hard
Yeah.
after this loss.
Let's take a step away from sort of the team itself, because one of the things that I have found fascinating is you are you're at Worlds right now, but in a very,
Mhm.
very different capacity than you've been in for
Yeah.
some time. So, what what is it like being there on stage in the arena? Obviously, no audience, but and knowing that like it's just a different world than the way you normally are interacting with this event.
Yeah. It's definitely unique. I think uh, I'm I'm actually unable to pay as much attention to the other groups than if I was just like a fan or a caster, because in that case, you're trying to get like the big picture of everything.
Yeah.
Whereas mainly I'm just trying to get like the very minute details of our team and the 3 opponents that we're going to be playing over the next like 6 days. And it's also pretty crazy that my first like stage game was at Worlds. because everything in NA was from the Alienware training facility. So I don't know, it's just been pretty wild. That's all I can really say. It's completely different.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta imagine it is. Has it changed your perspective at all on, like, obviously I'm sure it's a bit of a different perspective, and just like obviously you were literally on the stage behind the players, but things like best of ones and group stage, which I'm sure in the past were like, wow, this is really exciting. We get to see all these teams face off, and like there's all these upsets. Versus now, I just talked to Mithy, who's like, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of best of ones. I'm I'm sure little things like that feel a lot different from this angle.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of little things like that. Like even so this is probably going to be an annoying answer to hear, but like the difference between blue side and red side, I have learned so much more about the difference between blue side and red side as a coach than I knew it. Because as a caster, you're just like, oh yeah, it's Fnatic versus TSM.
Yeah.
And it's just like, they're blue. Like, it's just like an afterthought,
Right.
what side you're on. But like in terms of preparation, holy crap, it changes a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm sure a lot of fans after today are looking at our 0-4 record. Maybe they've stayed up the first 2 nights to watch the games, and now they're wondering about night 3. So I'm kind of curious. I know you can't give like broad answers on how NA is going to turn this all around, but what is kind of your take on NA's performance so far, and how things are headed?
Yeah, I had an answer ready, like a nice quick one, but you asked the question differently than I thought you would, because I thought you were going to ask. I thought you were asking, should NA fans be worried?
Yes.
Right.
Well, I think they should. Yes. Should they be worried? I think a lot of them are. But
okay. Yeah.
but should they be? I guess I'll give you the question you wanted.
Yeah, they should be worried.
Yeah.
Because NA started 0-5. Like that's a terrible start to group stage.
Yeah.
But what I will ask is, even if you're worried, it's definitely not over.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bad start. That's what it is. Like, and I think the thing that I'm hoping everyone on Liquid can internalize and use as confidence going forward is, we have players that have experienced both extremes. We have Jensen, who was 3-0 and then didn't make quarters. And we have Broxa, who was 0-4 and made quarters. So, yes, you should be worried. Why wouldn't you be worried? NA's lost every game. But it also doesn't really matter. Like, what matters is how you do in the next game. If we can pick up wins against Suning and G2, and if we can beat Machi in the rematch.
Yeah.
And even if we are 0-3, by the way, our schedule is pretty crazy. We only have one off day after our first 3 group stage games, and then we play 3 more the next day. But even if we are 0-3, if we have a great day, we can still advance. So yes, you should be worried, but like, until our team is officially eliminated, we're not going to give up, and I don't think the fans should either.
Very good. Well, hey, that's at least nice to hear, because I'm sure a lot of fans want to hear that right now. So, is there anything you want to say to any of the fans out there, besides maybe what you just said, the folks that are watching and cheering for TL at home?
I mean, I think that pretty much covers it. I'll also just say, like, when Mad Lions lost in the play-in stage, I know that there was probably like a ton of like shit thrown their way. I know I tried to tweet something. I know Broxa tweeted something. I even saw like Parth tweeting stuff about how like I don't know. I just feel like people don't necessarily understand how elite Worlds competition is. Like, even in play-ins, but the further you go in the tournament, like the more elite it becomes.
Yeah.
So just like, I know it's fun to just like throw around trash at people, but like, everyone at Liquid is trying really, really hard. And if you want to support us, if you want to support the players, like, just be reasonable in your feedback. And I think that'll give us the most confidence and the highest chance to win. Yeah. So thank you for the support so far. Our plan is to still make it out of groups. This is a rough start for us. And yeah, thanks for watching till the end if you heard this message.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Jatt, for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my Worlds coverage right here on my YouTube channel. So I'm going to be honest, it's not going great for NA at Worlds this year. And I figured, we're always talking about growing talent. Why not journey out into the heartland of the US where we grow all sorts of stuff to see if we can, I could find the next crop of NA talent out here in these beautiful fields. Anyway, thank you so much to Alienware and Draft Buff for sponsoring our Worlds coverage. They're, helping me out here find the talent. And they're also giving away some stuff. Alienware has a link in the description below. And Draft Buff as well. Great stuff over there. Click the Alienware one. You're gonna get some cool stuff. All right, you can sign up. There's a giveaway. We're doing it anyway. All that stuff is on there. Also, take a look at some of the things that we're using. The gear is listed there. Also, you can use Travis 10 off Q3 in order to save 10% on your order.